host of very different skills in just one person. So I think that is changing, and I think that is what you need to be in order to be a successful solopreneur. If there's one thing I can scream to your listeners right now, if you are that person, that world is over. But if you're looking for a job, don't get 2% better at React. Spend that time.
Hey everyone, welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Web Stories with Sachin, the podcast where we dive deep into the journeys of some of the most inspiring minds in web development. From junior dev struggles to senior dev strategies, I uncover tips, tricks, and real stories that help you level up in this ever-evolving field. But that's not all. Today we are also touching on AI, and trust me, you're going to walk away with insights that matter. I'm your host Sachin, a mid-senior web developer, and today I'm super excited to welcome someone who's not just a senior developer but also an incredible teacher. In fact, he was my teacher, the one who taught me how to build a real web app on the popular Scrimba platform. Without further ado, let's dive in. Rafid Hoda, welcome to the show. Why don't you start by telling us a bit more about your journey and how it all began?
Thank you so much, Sachin, and thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be here with you on episode 2 of your first season. I wish you all the best with the future of your podcast.
Thank you.
Introduction about for me would be I'm 34 years old, so I was born in 1991 in India, and I think you're from India as well, right?
Yes.
Originally,
From India
yes.
as well.
So I'm from India. I speak Hindi as well fluently. But at the age of 5, my father decided to move our family from India to Norway. There's kind of a funny story why he picked Norway, but we don't need to go into that now. Most people will go to the US or UK, but he chose Norway. But he works in the oil industry, so I suppose it makes sense because, there's a lot of oil here. But yeah, since 5 years old, I grew up here. A very different world. I look like this, and I grew up during a time where there weren't many people like me in my class or anywhere. So that was an interesting experience. Grew up in Norway, had a great time, saw the web kind of grow up with me in the 90s and 2000s. Started using the computer as a tool to create things rather than just consume at the age of about 9 years old. And just fell in love with that. And, I've been doing that ever since. And then I grew up a bit, and then I decided I need to get more focused on school. So I really liked math, so I thought maybe I should become a mathematician. So I went to school in Canada or college in Canada to try to become a math guy, I guess, like professor, researcher. And then after 2 years there, I realized that I would not make a very good mathematician. And so the idea of being just an average mathematician at some university didn't really appeal to me. So I dropped out after 2 years. So unfortunately, I don't have a university degree. And then I came back to Norway. And then since then, I've tried a whole bunch of different things. I've been a salesman, actually, telemarketer, trying to talk to you for a couple of minutes on the phone, trying to sell you something. I've sold insurance, and I've sold a lot of different things. I've run my own businesses, but I've also worked for other people. I've done a bit of everything, and I was a bit afraid in the beginning that that type of experience maybe might not be very good for the tech industry. It's better that I just work as an engineer for like 10 years at some place. But now in hindsight, I think it was really amazing because I gained so many different kinds of skills that I was able to bring to this industry, which I think has kind of set me apart a little bit from other people.
And I guess all those years of being passionate about web and stuff, that was kind of a calling back to come back to or get back to the web industry, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the amazing thing about the web industry, you can say, is that it's so easy to build something and then put it out there. You don't really need to ask permission from anyone. It's so easy. And so you have an idea, you put it out there, and the whole thing can be done in like couple of hours on a weekend, and you're already testing something out there. So that type of simplicity I haven't really seen in any other industry. So I keep coming back to that, and that's what I kind of use in my teaching as well, to kind of get people building something real as fast as possible for them to see, okay, wow, this is possible now. And then you can go off into other fields, which maybe require a little bit more setup and just like knowledge about specific knowledge, you know? So
Okay.
that's a
Yep.
quick introduction.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I guess we have a lot of common things. We both are from India. I'm from actually South India,
Mhm.
Kerala. You said you're from Delhi, right?
I'm not from Delhi. I was born in Surat, Gujarat. That's
Okay,
where
Surat,
my father
Gujarat.
was working
Yes,
in the
yes.
oil industry there. But actually, my family is from Bihar, which I suppose is like east, like northeast, maybe
Oh, okay, okay.
ish. Yeah. So that's where most of my family.
Obviously.
Yeah, but we've gone out into the world. So a lot of my family is in the U.S. and Canada and some places in Europe and other places too.
Okay, good to know. So, what are you actively working on these days?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of things. I decided to start my own thing again about a year ago. And I've been working on some things. Maybe perhaps the most interesting for your listeners would be that I decided to develop my own coding language slash development platform slash a bunch of other things all rolled into one. And it kind of came out of frustration because I've been trying to teach kids and adults and really any kind of person who's interested coding. And I think if you tell someone like, do you want to learn coding? I think what I didn't realize until much later on is that most people will just instinctually say no because they kind of know it's important and they should know it, but they have this thing that they didn't like math in school, they weren't good at it, maybe they got some anxiety from it. Therefore, they can't be a coder because it requires very high level math and you need to be a math genius to be that. And so you already like shave off like 90% of the population just like that, you know, which is a shame. And then
All right.
the others as well, they have some reservations about it. And then there's the people that actually do give you some chance. Okay, let's do something. And then you say, okay, we're going to learn to make a website, and you can actually make something very simple, and they see something right away, right? Like with an H1 tag, button tag, whatever, and they go, oh wow, this is cool. But the moment you start telling them, okay, now we want to make it look good, right? Yeah. So now we're going to spend 1 hour trying to understand, or 2 hours, how to center something on a page. And that's where you start losing people. And they go, why is this so difficult? Why do I need to do Flexbox and all this stuff? Why don't I just tell, like, why doesn't it center it for me in the first place? Because, I mean, we're all used to apps all day long on our phones and everything is centered by itself. And so these things were getting in the way of me being able to show someone rather, that you can actually make something real on your phone, which you can use to solve a problem in your life. Because if it takes 5-10 hours to do it, then no one's going to be there at the end, you know?
All right.
People like you and me are still going to be there, but we're already getting everything from everyone else, right? So I just had a realization of how few people were even getting into because of these reasons. And so I decided that I'm going to have to do it myself. So I decided to make my own language. It's still in development, but it's called Hoda Script after my last name.
The script. That's a good name.
Thank you. And the whole point of it is you're not supposed to be able to do everything with it. It's optimized for making mobile apps really fast. And my rule is that we only make applications that take 5 minutes to build from start to finish. You press a button, it publishes, you scan a QR code, it's on your phone, like a mobile app, like a native
I
mobile
did
app.
use it actually. The coffee counter and the other one was a checklist generator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's super simple stuff. It's actually based on me building my own apps over the years to do simple things for myself, like remembering what to get from the grocery store, being able to share it with a partner or someone else that you're living with, having a daily routine app. So it's based around that idea, but it's not English, it is code,
Yeah.
but it's basically a parser. It becomes JavaScript at the end. So that's really what I'm doing here. I'm giving you an easy way to write JavaScript where I've
Right.
taken care of a lot of stuff for you, like being able to save stuff to local storage by default, making counter buttons that when you press them, a button like the number goes up without having to write like variable functions and everything. So all of the concepts we're using are actually human concepts that everyone understands, but I'm just inventing a language around it that teaches people how to code. But rather than focusing on the code itself, we're focusing on the problem and then writing it. And then hopefully when you've built 10 apps with me using my language, then you start to understand a little bit. Okay, now I kind of understand a little bit how to think like a coder. And then based off of that, if you're interested in learning more, you can go on to JavaScript and you'll see the syntax. It's familiar for you already at that point, you know? So that's kind of the idea. Right. That's the biggest thing I'm working on right now. There's also some smaller projects, but yeah, this would be the biggest project that I have.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I guess it's a good entry point for early web learners, I would say, or students in general. And if they want to really dig deep, then JavaScript is always there and they can really make applications from there too. But I guess it's a good start for people. I did have one idea though, which would also make the app next level. Something was a timer. If you could like introduce custom timers, like a lot of people are working on different timers in terms of like going for gym, they use the timers. Students who are like using Pomodoro timers,
Yeah,
probably, I don't know, might be a good addition.
that's an excellent idea. I've written it down. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, this was my main question. Have you built any app that made your life easy? And I guess Hoda script is the biggest thing for you at the moment.
Yeah. I have actually, and I'll share some ideas with your listeners. Maybe they would like to build their own versions of it. So one thing that I built a couple of years ago, and I'm working on a newer Hodascript version of it, which was an expense tracker that I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at tracking my expenses. And so I would buy something and then I would get the receipt. I would take a picture of the receipt and that would save the transaction amount in like a spreadsheet. And then you would be able to have everything there so you can go and see that. So that's like a simple version of that. I'm working on a couple of different versions of like finance trackers for different types of people. That's something that I need and I need in my life.
Something like there is something called YNAB, but that's an advanced tool, I guess. It's called You Need a Budget. In short, it's called YNAB.
Okay.
That's for your tracking your expenses and stuff. They basically target all the people like students to everyday using people. But yeah, but your use case is even more simpler than this.
Simple. I've realized that here's like a little bit of a tangent, but I've been in this game of like trying to build stuff close to 10 years now. And it's just so rare that you make something that people actually use. It's so rare that it's unbelievable because it's like 99% of things that exist completely fail and they don't, they don't really work. They might work for a little tiny bit, but over a 5-year stretch, 10-year stretch, they don't work. And one of the reasons I think why that is the case is because someone who starts something, it always starts pretty simple. And then it catches, it gets some traction and people start using it, people start liking it. But then that's where you have investors coming in and saying, hey, this is cool, I want to invest in you. And, and that's where they go like, okay, you should do this and you should go on this market. And before you know it, in 1 to 2 years, that one little simple thing that actually worked becomes this big thing that's trying to do everything. And now for the average mind, when they download it and they're like, I kind of need this app because I have this problem. And they go, wait, what? I have to like do this and this and this and this and this and add that. And that's too much. And so just think about when you look at your phone and look at the apps that you use every day.
Right.
It's going to be the big apps because those are the companies that have hooked you in different ways psychologically. And maybe you have a notes app that you use. I have a notes app that I use every day. There's some smaller apps I do use. But
Right.
chances are, if I go to the App Store and download an app today because I actually have that need, I'm not using it in a year. So I must have downloaded how many different apps over the years, and almost none have I actually used. So that tells you something. And I think part of the reason is because the creators of these apps are like, we have to take over the world, and we have to we have to become the biggest thing. This is going to change the world. And it's like, you're just making a to-do list app. You're not supposed to do any of that. Just understand what you're trying to do and don't overcomplicate it. Again, what I try to teach people and what I'm doing with my language is like, it's not supposed to be used by a billion people. It's just supposed to be used by other people who think like this. And that's it. So yeah, so simplicity is a big part of it. One last app I'll say that has actually changed my life. It's a simple tracker I made, which was just the first version was literally just a checkbox for each thing. So
Okay.
it was like a brushed teeth was the first thing. And then it was like walk outside and, eat breakfast. I'm a bit hopeless a little bit, so sometimes like I get focused on something. I don't know, Sachin, if you're like this too. But if I'm like, oh shit, I have this idea, and then 10 hours go by and I go, what? Oh shit, it's nighttime and I haven't eaten, I haven't gone out, I haven't talked to anyone.
Yes.
So what I did is that I actually hired an assistant to help me with this stuff. And so I told her we have a Telegram chat, a common group chat, and I coded it so that for every checkbox that I'm filling in, she gets a ping that Rafid finished brushing his teeth. So she knows that I did it at like 8:45 in the morning.
Right.
And then for walking outside, for example, I have an extra thing. So I have to like press it, but I also have to take a picture of me being outside so she knows I actually went outside. So
It's something called touch the grass kind of thing.
yeah,
But yeah.
exactly. So this, I kid you not, I've been doing this for over a year now. It has completely transformed my life because most days it's okay, but I have some mental health struggles, like I'm sure a lot of people have in the world. And sometimes you're just not feeling very good for like a couple of weeks, a month, sometimes more. And it just becomes harder to do the daily things, And even going outside can be difficult. So during those times when she realized that, oh, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening and he still hasn't sent me the picture, she'll call me or send me a text like, do you want to go outside? And that little like push made me like, okay, yeah, I should do that. So those things have kind of kept me back on track. And this is how you become better at consistency, doing the same boring things over and over again. And I think that a lot of people, maybe in our industry, struggle with things like ADHD, autism, or any other kind of, you have a different kind of brain, And a lot of times those things can make it difficult for you to do the daily things that are necessary. Like you should be more active and you should spend more time with people. And if you don't do that, and for a lot of people, these things are just normal. You just do them. But for me, they aren't actually.
Right.
So this one app has been pretty life-changing for me, actually.
Do you have a name for the app?
This one is just called Daily.
Daily.
Yeah. So this one is something that I launched as the first app on my platform. It's free, so you can go and try it out.
If you have links that you would like to share, I will definitely put in the show notes.
Yeah,
later.
absolutely. So it's hodascript.com, and that's where you can try out the little apps. I'm still working on new apps to show you. There are free versions of the apps you can put just using local storage, So you basically like make the list of things that you care about, and you like check. It turns yellow. And then there's like a confetti thing that you can have come up when you're done with everything. And then it kind of resets for a new day. That's the free version. What I'm working on is also giving you premium features like You can send push notifications to someone. So like, for example, if you have a wife or husband and you want to share the daily stuff with them, you can go like click,
Right.
and then you can code in like notify colon wife or husband, and then it will actually send them that.
Then they
So I'm
text
trying to
message.
make these things, notifications is something that's difficult for people to implement, right, in the web.
Right.
I'm trying to make these things simpler using my platform, which would be native, native notifications. So if a lot of times, like, especially when they get a little bit older, like wives are like, did you take your diabetes medication? Like you should,
Right.
so you can click a button and it kind of keeps reminding you until you've taken it. So these little things you can kind of code in. So yeah, that's kind of the whole idea behind this platform. And yeah,
That's a good idea. All the best. I hope your app reaches more people
thank you.
because sometimes the notifications are really helpful to take some actions in this world because people are like totally disconnected and phone is their only thing that they have at all time. So that definitely makes sense.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on to the next section that is past versus now. So my first question, in the past, everyone used to be or used to work for big companies, but things are changing. A lot of them are solopreneurs these days. How do you see this shift in the work culture?
Yeah, very good question. I think in some ways, things back in the day were much easier. They were much more predictable. If we take our parents' generation, they were told that you go to university, you get a degree, or you get some training as a plumber or something, and you pretty much are safe for the rest of your life. Then you get your pension, and then you're good, right? And that was pretty
Right.
much true. And but what that did require was that you had to get really good at what you were doing. So the depth of things was very important, right? I think in the new world, you are things are changing in the sense that you don't need to set up a big company in order to achieve something. There are still some use cases where that still is the case. If you want to build a specific type of thing, you do need a lot of people. But in the world of digital, if you know what you're doing, you can get up a website up and running within hours, right? If you know a little bit of design skills, you can also make it look pretty nice. If you know what you're doing in terms of like what you want to offer, you can go out there and find people to talk to pretty fast to start understanding if what you're doing even is actually worth doing, if anyone's going to pay for it. And then when you do have something, you can start pushing ads, for example, for just like pay someone money and you're getting it in front of people's, eyeballs. So just let's think about that, right? Like you have an idea, you got to be able to make a website, you got to be able to design it. Maybe you probably should make a video for it too. You need to do some writing because you got like copy on the page. You
Right.
got to know ads a little bit. So this is like, say, 5 different types of things, sales,
Things, yes.
marketing, being able to talk to people, being able to reach out to people.
Right. Totally.
So this thing previously, just 20 years ago, would be done by 8 different people. And so a
Right.
person who would be the CEO, let's say the starter of this whole thing, it would be like, we need a person full time working in all of these things. That has changed dramatically.
Right.
And I think that's a positive thing, honestly. But I think it's both a positive and a negative, as with anything. But the positive is that if you can do all those things good enough, you don't need to be amazing at it. You just got to be like, good enough and willing to learn. Then there's no one stopping you from doing it. Because if you have just a little tiny bit of money, you can go out there and you can start testing ideas. You can start making money. So that is the biggest difference that I've seen. Now, that also means that in order to be this kind of person, you have to be the person who likes to learn new things.
All right.
Because if you're like, so I'm naturally more the guy who likes to be at my computer and code all day, basically, right? Because I enjoy the process of creating something. Whether that has any real world applications or not, I didn't used to care that much because I just thought I was so smart that it would by default. And then I realized I'm incredibly dumb and it's not how it works. But if you want to be the person who can go out to people, regular people, and talk to them and say, like, show them the thing you've made and get feedback and actually be able to take that feedback and not take it personally. You're talking about like very you're talking about a whole host of very different skills in just one person. So I think that is changing, and I think that is what you need to be in order to be a successful solopreneur.
Right.
And that's incredibly difficult because the type of person that can sit and code all day and produce something, it's in some ways the opposite person who takes that thing and shows it to people to even understand this is a thing to worth making. But how can you be those two opposites in one?
Two people.
Exactly. And most people don't think they can do it. I think most people can do it, but but it doesn't matter because it's all based on what they believe they can do themselves. That's the tricky thing because in my opinion, if you are not, first of all, understanding that this is who you need to become, and then actually trying to become it, I think it's just a matter of time before you are going to be replaced by another person. Everyone's talking about like AI is not going to replace you. It's going to be like a person using AI. What they fail to mention is that if that person using AI is so productive that that person is doing the work of 20 or 100 people, 99 people are losing their jobs. And
that's true.
I'm part of those 99. I'm not part of that one super crazy person, So what I'm seeing, and this is something that I take as one of the laws of the universe, is that everything is it's all exponential games that are being played. In any new industry, there's going to be 100 different companies offering stuff. But you take it and you play that game and you end up, after 20 years, it's just going to be two top companies that have gobbled up everyone else. And they're competing against each other. That's the game that in any country, when you play, even with political parties, you got a bunch of different political parties. And then after decades, it's just the two big ones.
Right.
It's something that has always been true and will always be true. So the same thing now is happening where it's just a handful of companies who are getting all of our resources, money, and attention. We're staring at a screen 7 hours a day. It's all Facebook, Google. It's all YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's the same companies owning everything.
Right.
But yeah, so if you want to carve out your own little place in the world and do your own little thing, you can't compete. Because the thing is that if you are the person who goes, I'm the CEO type, I'm going to tell other people to do my work, you're going to be outcompeted by someone who's the CEO type, but also the worker type. Because 8 people can't compete with one person doing everything by himself or herself. It's just not a competition because it's they're able to go 100 times faster, Because from idea to insight to git, commit, push, it's just like this. 20, 30 times a day versus they have to have a meeting about everything every single day. And then maybe a week they're able to do 30 commits. So that's the game being played now, and you have to be part of that. And I'm not going to pretend to say that this is easy. This is not easy because I'm in a privileged position. Maybe you're the same type, Sachin, that I got access to a computer pretty early on. So already when I was making my own little movies and games and everything at 9 years old, I was already kind of doing everything by myself. So I just got used to me doing everything by myself. So I've kind of already been doing this. But for most people, they're like, no, I'm a copywriter, I'm a designer, I'm a developer, and that's what I do. And if there's one thing I can scream to your listeners right now, if you are that person, that world is over. You cannot, so you got to start learning about everything. And you got to start doing everything. That's the only way to compete as a solopreneur, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So that's sorry for like a long kind of thing into it, but that's
fine. You had to make your point. But That's true. I mean, I guess we are also even lucky to be in 2025 to have access to a lot of things that are really useful for solopreneurs. For example, as you said, you had to do multiple things, and there are many YouTube channels where it helps people to excel in their marketing skills, sales skills, or even boost their confidence and stuff. And also, there are many tools. Recently, I saw Bolt. They have conducted this huge idea collection and generation, make your own app and things. So I guess people, if you're like going to be a solopreneur, it's not an easy path, I would say, because you have to hustle a lot. You have to probably work more than 8 hours, and that's not everybody's cup of tea. But I guess some are really making fortune out of it. You can fail big time, but let's see.
Yeah, I think in the future what we're going to see are big companies, like big companies. You know, they got thousands of people working there. Amazon, Facebook, those kinds. And then we're going to see the small ones. There's very little space for the in-betweeners because there's no place where a 50-person company can exist where they're able to make something better than a 10,000-person company and make something better than a 1, 2, 3-person company. So I think a lot of that area is going to start going away just because the productivity gains that things like AI gives you. Because it's all about, for me, business is all about iterating as fast as you can because you're like, oh, I got a new idea. And then you go, oh, is this something the world wants? We don't know. Let's test this. Then you build something, you show it, you get some data, and then you iterate again. And you just keep doing that until a switch. When it comes to business, when something works, it's like it works for everyone. So you'll see very fast that things are going to start coming in. So it's either it usually doesn't work at all, and then, or it totally works and people start paying you. So once you hit that, then you go, okay, this is a thing we need to do now. So let's make this into a product and let's actually start pushing this. Okay. And then let's keep doing the iteration process, you know? That's all business is about. But so the small company is going to win at this. So yeah, again, just to kind of harp on that point a little bit, that if you are a developer and you're really good, don't, or if you're looking for a job, maybe we can come back to this a bit later. But if you're looking for a job, don't get 2% better at React. Spend that time to be able to become a better speaker and make a video about yourself, right? So it's like, are you like trying to get those little like diminishing gains in this dimension, or should you like do something where you really feel uncomfortable? So I think that's going to be the most uncomfortable thing for people to realize, because it's very difficult as a 30, 40, 50-year-old adult already to get hit with this thing of, wait, you're telling me now that I have to be good at talking to people in sales? No, I'm a developer, you know? But I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. But do you think you're the best developer in the world? Yeah, no way. Well, if you're not, then you can't compete on that dimension. You gotta be good at some other things. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I have a similar question, and that feel like I believe you're going through your solopreneur journey. So, what roadmap should someone follow?
Yeah, I'm not so sure if I'm in a position to give a roadmap because I don't feel very successful in my journey yet.
But what have the things that have worked for you?
Yeah, I'll share some things that I've been trying to follow. You gotta be obsessed with getting good feedback data from the real world versus in your own brain, putting your stuff up on X and getting, yay, good job from other people, showing it to your mom and her saying you're so good, showing it to your partner or family members or friends. That's not good data, okay? And you have no idea. You have one brain and one life experience. You are in no position to even begin to understand what's going to work and what isn't going to work. People talk about building in public, and they go, well, building in public is me posting screenshots on X and people liking that. Yeah, okay, but I think that's pretty useless, honestly. So when I was building in public with my Hoda script thing and a couple other things I was working on, I was literally going out in my city, Oslo, and I went to these spots where I would just sit and work on my computer. And I have my keyboard with me and my mouse and stuff, so people see that something is going on, right? They look at me like, okay, that's the coder or hacker or something like that. So I'll be at a bar or like a restaurant or cafe or something, and people will come up to me and like ask or something, or I'll go up to them sometimes. It's like, hey, I'm working on something. Do you have 2 minutes? Can I show you? So, okay, sure. So I'm showing my Hoda script syntax to them and going like, so I'm trying to make this coding language for regular people. Like, can you try to, like, what's going to happen if I run this code? You know? And they say, well, it's going to make a button, and if you click it, it's going to count something, I think. Like, and then it actually works. So this I did over and over again. I think I must have shown my thing to around 50 to 100 people. And then I asked like different people, right? I also got people that I knew. I did Zoom calls, I did in person, I did a lot of stuff. And old, young, you know. And then I would say things like what, and you would see it on their faces like when they click and they do stuff, because I just show them how to do it. You can see it on their faces. They go, ah, that's cool, and they laugh, and they go, oh, look at this, what he made. They're showing, you know, there's a group of friends in their 20s. And they're like, oh, look at this. And then I know, okay, there's something there, because she wants to show her friend this. So that has to be, you know. So you need to, when you see this in person, because the problem is that if this is happening when you put the app out there, you're not seeing any of it. So you need to get this kind of feedback. And then you ask them, like, is this solving a problem in your life? Yeah, I think so, because I would use it in these ways. Okay, cool. Would you pay money for it? Yeah, I would. How much? I'd pay $10 for it. Okay, you write that down, you know? So this is something that, to me, is the most important part of the journey. Even more important than actually building the thing, actually. Because this shows you, I mean, you have to build something. I think you should build something, show them, build something, show them.
Right.
The most important part. I wish I learned this, and I learned this a long time ago. I just didn't want to do it because it's not something I enjoyed doing. But I taught myself to enjoy doing these things. But that's the most important thing, I'd say, is like showing it to real people, gathering the data, and then iterating like that. Yeah.
That's a great takeaway. I mean, you literally got feedback from 50 to 200, did you say?
About 100 people altogether.
About 100 people.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I mean, these are total strangers, and they would pour their heart out. And that's good. And I also saw a person who randomly put a question on his app that he was building on Reddit. Good to know.
Yeah.
The
ultimate, sorry to interrupt you. The last thing is that the ultimate test is not even this, actually. This is very good, but the ultimate test is them, you asking them, would you pay for this? Yeah. Would you pay $10? Yeah. Pay it right now. Here you go. You can pay it. And then if they pay it, then you know.
Okay.
Because even if you go to family members, they'll like, this is so good. This is going to change the world. Pay it. So that's
right. You cannot even charge your family members for that. They wouldn't pay you.
They wouldn't pay you. They will not pay you. Unless they actually need it. Then they will pay you. Yeah.
Okay. That's the second takeaway from this. Good. Next question. What YouTube channels, podcast, or any subscriptions, maybe let's call it X, do you think would help people to get started? What has helped you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm just thinking here.
We can start from YouTube if you want.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to go a little bit of a different route here.
Okay.
Normally you would go with like technical people. I don't want to say any technical people because there are a lot of good ones there, and maybe you should. But I'm more interested in those people that are maybe spending 8-10 hours learning React and, you know, whatever else that they're working on. Maybe spend 1 hour doing something else. So I think, honestly, like at the end of the day, if you want to make anything successful in this day and age, people are really only buying from you if they like you as a person, right? We all feel like now, unless it's the big brands, we need to have a personal relationship with you over time to buy something from you. And that's one of the ways you can compete with people. So that means that you got to become a better, more interesting person. You got to become a person who people would like to talk to if you met them on the street or something, and they'd want to come towards you and not go run the other way. So how to become a better person, I'd say. YouTube videos. I think there are some good podcasts out there that I try to listen to. There's one, Chris Williamson, who I like.
Right.
He's pretty big now, but he has a lot of guests on that I think he is very good at getting really good conversations out of people. So I always learn a lot listening to him. There's one who's very famous too, Naval Ravikant. You probably heard of him.
Naval Ravikant. Right.
He has this ability to take many different things and boil it down to one thing that makes you go, okay, yeah, that makes sense, like a framework, thinking in frameworks. Robert Greene is, I'm mentioning more just people, and you can find them if you Google them or YouTube.
I think this is the author of 44 Laws of Power.
Yeah, 48 Laws of Power, I think. I forget which number it is.
Right.
It's something Laws of Power, yeah, you're right.
Right, he's a famous guy.
Yeah, he's written that. He's also written some other books, like one is on mastery, and he is a fascinating person, but he has this ability to, and you can either read his books, but you can also just watch his videos. He's very good on video. Right. He has this ability to teach you about how the world works through human beings and how we behave in relation to each other and ourselves. And so through his writing and watching him, I've learned so much about how the world works, and that will teach you in every facet of life. Some other people too I'll mention on the fly. Let's see. There is this author and computer science professor, Cal Newport, who has written some books. I think his ideas are very interesting.
Right.
There are also some other people that I like I'm a very big fan of cinema and movie making. I used to do that as a kid. So this is
I see this in your content creation as well.
And that's what a lot of people they appreciate about my videos. And that's, that's also one thing that allows you to connect to someone. So
a lot of good movies, you would say, right?
I would say, yeah. Watch good movies.
Based on true stories and stuff.
Exactly, because whatever you're doing, if you're selling a technical product, you have to tell a story, because you have to show, why does this thing exist in the world, even in the first place? There's always a story behind it. Right. And I will much rather connect to that than that this thing is so amazing and it's built with these things. And it doesn't that might actually convince me because I'm a geek and so are you. But to the average person who if you're trying to make this into a real business, you're trying to reach the more average person. They're not going to care about any of that. If you built this with React or Supabase or whatever, they just okay, why is this? Why are you even bothering me with this? So a couple more people. Shah Rukh Khan, I'm a big fan of his, big Indian actor. Amir Khan, a very, very big fan of his. Other people, Andrew Huberman is very popular. You get to learn a lot of stuff from him.
The Huberman podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
The PhD guy.
Yeah, so those are some people. Tiago Forte is more of a newer.
The second brain guy, right?
Second brain guy, yeah, fascinating guy. If you don't know about him, you should go onto YouTube, and search him up. And he changed my life with the way that he talks about organizing.
He's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I definitely use his structure of organizing the brain. My notes is now totally revamped to this new structure.
Same here.
Oh, good to know. Awesome. So I guess that was a great list that you shared. I do have specific questions in the rapid fire on the movies. So yes, we'll get back to this. Awesome. So we are winding up this section, past versus now. So next section is advice for juniors and mid-level developers. All right. So my first question in this round is, a lot of people have been laid off or hiring is freezed due to the shift in AI, or trying to get their first job. Due to this, some of the job gets a lot of applicants, 100, 500, even so 3,000 in LinkedIn analytics on a remote job. So how do you think people can survive during this period? Should they freelance? Where can they find opportunities?
Yeah, it's very difficult to try to find work nowadays.
Right.
So let's acknowledge that it's objectively very difficult right now, and it's going to be for a while like this. And past that, we have no idea what's happening. So honestly, things have been very good for the past 10, 15, 20 years. A lot of people listening to us are probably people that are trying to learn to code to get their first job or something like that, or maybe trying to upskill.
Right.
We have been living through a time where you can be a person working in any industry. You discover coding and tech, you go to a boot camp. In 1 year, you learn what you need to, and you're working at a place earning $120,000. That wasn't that
Right.
uncommon up until very recently.
Right.
The
Yes,
reason for
boot
that,
camps were
yeah, and
so famous.
exactly, and a lot of things came up as a result of that, like learn to code, learn to code, learn to code was a big thing, and I've been a big part of that too. But that is changing now because like no one really knows what's happening or going to happen. But what we do know is that this new thing with AI, ChatGPT 2022 kind of,
Right.
is changing things. And a lot of that is just fluff, I think, because a lot of it is just happening and it's not really affecting things. But where it really starts to affect things is when, let's say, a person like me, who I'm not like an expert, like top level expert in anything. I'm pretty good at several things. But whereas before, when I needed a video made to promote a product that I've been working on, I'd perhaps be able to do some of it myself, like write the script and the story and everything, and then I'd need other people to do something for me. Now I know pretty much what I want. I can go into ChatGPT or Midjourney, Leonardo, image generation AIs. I can put in stuff and I get stuff that would cost hundreds of dollars before. It looks like a Disney artist who works at Pixar made it specifically for me, and that person they would charge an insane amount of money for it, right? But now I got
Exactly
it like
right.
this, and that is where the real economic effect of this is taking place. Because if I can get that for almost nothing, that money is not being exchanged. And so the people that are working as graphic artists, for example, they used to get a bunch of people asking them for logos and graphics and whatever else. And that maybe goes down 90%, 80%. Same thing with like a company needs to make an ad for their perfume or something, right? And they need attractive people doing different poses. That whole production could take like $100,000, $200,000 over several days to complete because you got to have the photographer and the lighting people and the models and all that costs money. Now I can get you like 90% of the way there. Just pay me $5,000. I'll get it to you in 2 days, And you're already seeing this in the real world because I look at ads now and I go real close and I see, is this made by AI? And I go, yeah, this is actually made by AI. I know even which model they use because that's.
Right.
So it's happening in the real world. And what we're going to see happen and what we're already seeing happening is what's always been happening. It's nothing new, but it's just the acceleration. So we're it's much steeper now.
Right.
So it's just the same thing where fewer and fewer people are going to make more and more money. And the people that, okay, so it's a bit topic, but if you are a person who can use the computer to learn new skills, you need to just keep doing that and you'll be okay. You'll probably be very successful, actually. You'll make more money. But it would be disingenuous of me to put everyone in that group because the the 50-year-old mom of 3 that just lost her job in customer service that she was working in for 15 years because an AI can answer questions much faster than her.
Right.
What is she supposed to do? You know, like, can she be this person that I'm talking about that can do everything? And yeah, of course. But I mean, it's easy for me to say. I'm like this guy who has no kids and I got all this time, you know, I'm so much younger than her. So it's very scary, honestly. And I don't have an answer. But the advice I would give is really no different than before, honestly. It's just focus on the basic skills. What I try to do is if you have a good foundation in math, you're going to be good anywhere in the world ever because you know how to think. If you're good at programming and if you're good at taking the real world in and transforming it into like a problem you can take apart and actually build something, you're going to be good. If you can talk to people and you can be charismatic and you can actually like get some attention from people and like they actually listen to you when you talk, you're going to be good. It's always been like this kind of, but this AI revolution is just stripping us bare even more because what's happening is that for all of this time of 100 to 200 years, we have been led to believe that this whole thing about a salary is like a real thing. And it's not, actually. Because the whole salary thing that people are so obsessed by is you going to a company, they figured something out about the world, and they hopefully have money coming in, or they have investor money that they're burning. Whichever case, they have money in the bank. You come in and you're supposed to do something, and they give you some chunk of that money every single month, and it's set at the same constant level, right? And it goes up a little bit over time. So let's say you're receiving $10,000 a month. Now, whether the world is experiencing something big or markets are crashing, that company is still supposed to pay you those $10 regardless. That's not how the world works. If you sell 100 units of your product in 1 month and you do really well, you get $100,000 in, and the next month you go down to 2 and you almost get nothing. Now, what I think is going to happen is that this old way of salaried employees is going to start going away because more and more companies are going to adopt this new model of like, you come to us, we have this framework for you being able to produce value, but you're only going to be compensated if you actually are giving value to the world, and in exchange, we are getting money. So the same way that a salesperson will get money is through commission, right? You sell for 100,000, you get 40% of it, take home pay. You don't get anything like for just sitting and drinking coffee at work, right? So I think we're moving towards that model because we have to, because AI is taking away all the fluff and it's going to magnify the things that matter even more. So a developer now has to think, okay, not only do I have to sit and code all day, but I also got to understand if I'm spending my time on the right things. I got to talk to the customer. I got to do all those things. So honestly, and this is probably not what people want to hear, because this is not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy to be a really good coder, but also be a good designer, but also be able to talk to people. So I am honestly pretty scared because I've tried to think a lot about this. And for more the average person who isn't like super obsessed like us and like spends time on X all the time and tries to understand what's going on, the latest in the field, that's a bit extreme, right? That's not everyone is doing that. People are going home and not thinking about work and spending time with the kids.
Take in at the moment with the whole AI things.
But if you just want to live your life, I don't know if this field, honestly, I would think twice about even entering this field at this point. If you're a newcomer, honestly, yeah, people are even like joking kind of about it, that like it's better to become a plumber and more like infrastructure jobs, you know, because they're not changing as much. And you know what? I kind of agree with them a bit. You really should be here. Like, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm going to be in tech because you can make a lot of money, don't do that
Right.
because you're not going to make a lot of money.
It was a thing of past, I guess.
That's not true anymore.
So, on the same note, I do believe that there are a lot of juniors or people who just did their graduation and trying to look out the jobs.
Yeah.
So that means that they shouldn't stick on to one thing. My next question is like, how can developers stand out for when they're applying for roles today? So they just don't have to bring only one skill, like being good at React. So I guess they definitely have to add something on top of it. So what do you think the things that might be that will help them to do this?
Yeah. Very good question. And people ask me a lot about this. Okay. So there are two different kinds of companies. There are companies like SpaceX, where they want the absolute best technical people in the world, and the competition really truly is about that.
Yeah.
And then there are other kinds of companies that are making glorified to-do list applications. You know? Now,
Right.
in the first cohort, you do want to be focusing on the technical skills because that is how you will be judged.
Right.
So they don't really care if you're very introverted and you're barely talking to people. If you can do really math at a higher level, that's what they want. Most people are not in that group. That's incredibly rare to be in that group. For most of us, we're just working on some application that's taking user data and storing it in a database and showing it back, right? How good you need to be in React to do that? Not that great. It's okay if you're just fine. So in order to stand out there, you have to realize a couple of things. First, you have to get out of your own head, and you have to think that you're not the important person in this whole scenario. If this was a movie, you wouldn't be the main character. The main character is the company looking to give out the job because they're just one. And there's thousands of you trying to get that thing. You're just one in 1,000 or 10,000. Okay. So this company probably is going to be a company of a smaller size. If you are getting your first job in tech, you're probably going to be going for a startup. In a startup, the person hiring will either be the CEO himself or herself, or they're going to delegate that to some other person. In any case, everyone in that company is doing everything and they're busy all the time.
Right.
So what they really want is just a magical button they can press and the perfect person appears in front of them and then they go, you got the job. That's actually what they want. But they don't have that, so they have to do it through this process. So what you want to do, if that is what they want, is that you want to show them that you are that person. Now, how do you do that? Well, I use this example a lot. If you want to go into a restaurant that is very popular, or a nightclub, or whatever you are into, you know, maybe a science fair or something like that, whatever it is, you want to get into that building and you look at the line and it's going on for hundreds of meters.
Right.
Most people would just go, okay, I guess I have to stand in the back of the line. Yeah, okay, maybe you'll get in there in 10 years. What you have to do is you have to understand what is this building? When was it built? Who owns it? What do they do inside? You have to figure out everything about the building, because I can guarantee you that there are many different ways you can get into the building without standing in the line. You know? So maybe you can get in through the window, back door. Maybe you can talk to the chef who works there, who's getting into the back door. Yeah, he's with me. Come on in. You know, you have to do that because the competition is just insane, right? The way to do that I teach people is this way. We stare at our phones for 7 hours a day, watching small videos predominantly, right? We go like this.
Right.
At least that's what I do a lot of the time. So if we are doing that, then why are you sending a CV that you have to read that takes, like, is filled with text, and when you look at it, you want to kill yourself because you're like, oh my God, this is so much text. Who's going to read this, right? So now you're thinking that, okay, that company is getting hundreds and thousands of these CVs. I'll send that too because they need me to send that. Okay, fine. But maybe I can make a 30-second video or 60-second video max that's a vertical video that they can see on their phone, and I make it super easy for them to watch the video. And in that video, it doesn't really even matter what I say. It's more important for them to get a feeling of who I am in 30 seconds. That's it. 45 seconds.
Right.
So that they can feel, this person is nice to listen to. They look good. They dress nice. They have a nice smile. I would like to spend 1 hour with this person getting to know them better. They're just getting this inside, right?
Right.
And whatever you put in there, it's up to you kind of. But if you make that, most people, what they will do on their CV is say, this is where I went to school. No one gives a shit about that except for you. This is my grade point average. I got a 3.96. No one, I've never been asked about that. I've never been asked about my degree. I don't even have a degree. So, but how much time are we spending on that, right? The font, the projects. People put projects on their CV. No one clicks on the links. Even if they click on the link, it'll be incomprehensible because it goes to a GitHub, which has a link somewhere. And
Right.
you know how to do it, but even a technical person don't.
And they're even trying to generate a CV using AI to make it engaging or,
It's insane.
customizing.
So you got to understand what everyone else is doing, and you have to do the opposite. And I've been doing this for years now, and the results are insane. The amount of times that I actually hear back from them in a positive way is way higher than normally. Normally, you hear back like 2% of the time or something like that. With me, it's around 70%. I haven't done it that much. The data is small, but it's very high. Pretty much if they watch it, they will get back to you.
Right.
So this is what I teach people. Make a video, give them a feeling of who you are in just 30, 45, 50 seconds max, and send it to them on LinkedIn. So do the research on the company and show them that you know what their company does. And then you go on their company page, and let's say 10 people work there. You figure out different people at the company, right? So you got the CEO, maybe they'll be pretty busy. So you got the CTO, less busy probably. COO, you got developers, you got designers. Just pick 3 people from different hierarchies, and then go love your company, made a 45-second video for you. Here you go. That's it. So when they're getting home from work on the public transportation and they got a ding and they go, oh, that's cool. Text video. And then they have their headphones on, they click it and they watch it, and that's really cool. So
Right.
you want to think on that psychological level, what is it like to be that person? Because you got to understand that they don't want to be hiring a person because it's I've done it myself. I've hired a lot of people. It's really boring. It's boring. I'm sorry, it is for me. But I do want the person though. So if they're constantly getting new CV notifications and it's all boring, then you come in and you're imagine the psychological, So this is what I've been doing. I've been talking to my friends about it. They do similar things. It doesn't have to be a video. In my case, it's video because it's the most natural thing for me, but it can be other things too. But you basically have to show the company that you, without them prompting you to do anything, have already done so much of the work. So then you're showing them that you're hardworking rather than writing it in the CV as a keyword that I'm hardworking. You show, don't tell, just show. So if they go, oh, this person did so much work even without us asking, how good will they be when they actually, So those are things that you want pop up in their minds.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a different thought. I would say nowadays everything gets filtered out. Even let's say 2,000, 3,000 applications, they don't have even the manpower to filter out so many applications, and some are really good, and just because of keywords they really lose good people. And I guess by doing this can definitely stand out and really make an impact.
Yep.
It's a good thing. It's a good point.
Last thing I'll say on this is that don't think that if you're being hired for a React developer job that you're competing on the React dimension. Don't think that. Your React skills are fine, probably. You're being hired as a person who will be nice to be around. They will do their work. People will think they're funny. People will have a good time. That's what we actually want. It's assumed that your React development skills are fine. So just spending 5 hours a day on that in preparation for the job. It just doesn't make sense to me, honestly. So, yeah. And the best person technically never gets hired for the job, almost ever. It's always the person who got the attention and got the thing through some, yeah.
So you mean to say have a skill, but do have many other things that please people, or every other skill is an icing on the cake, right? On the top of the cake. So
Yeah.
makes sense. Awesome. Thanks for sharing such a detailed insight. So I do have another question. I think we did actually speak about it, the non-technical skills that you would like to recommend people, those who are trying to apply. But do you want to quickly do a short
Yeah, sure.
summarization?
Yes, non-technical skills. So let's define technical as the coding itself, and then
Exactly.
anything else will be non-technical. Writing is incredibly important. And do not
Right.
use ChatGPT for writing. I see people using ChatGPT sending emails and replying to text messages. If you're doing that, stop doing that right now. ChatGPT is a great place to go and get some insights on like how to edit this better and make it sound nicer and whatever else. But the core of the thing has to come out of you first. So get really good at writing. It's going to change your life. Yeah. So that's number one. The other thing is video making, as I said. Make videos, meaning anything that you want to convey as like a thought I had, a concept or a problem to be solved, product, whatever it is, something I offer, you need to be able to turn that into a video that doesn't last for more than 60 seconds. That's something I have a rule for myself, that anything I'm making, if it's past 60 seconds, I'm not doing a well enough job of distilling it down. Because that is the reality in which we live now. Best case scenario is someone gives you 60 seconds of their life. Best case. Probably actually they'll give you 2 seconds and they'll scroll past you. That used to be different back in the day, and there you could make a 5-minute video and people would actually watch. No longer
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Video, and then I would say just get comfortable with reaching out to people and making connections happen without any reason for being that thing. So if you like that someone did something, right? If you saw something on X and they made something that you found really nice and you like, just go, hey, I loved the thing that you made. Love to do a Zoom call with you whenever you're free. I do this, and people will reach out to you. Just get in the habit of having a couple of these like happening every week, every month. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you got to get good at making this seem very natural. And at a certain point, you're just talking to people. Like you go into a restaurant and you go, you start talking to the owner about how good that restaurant is. And then what usually happens is that, actually, what do you do? Yeah, I'm a website developer, whatever. Yeah, actually, we're looking for someone to do because our website is very old and we need someone.
Right,
Maybe, so those things happen naturally too.
That will turn into an opportunity.
Absolutely. Design is something important, like having good taste for design and that feel. Yeah, I mean, what else? Yeah, the ability to ask good questions in meetings or other contexts in order to extract information from people's brains that is useful. That's very important. That's perhaps one of the most important things you can ever do.
Ask questions.
Yeah, all of these things will make you a better developer as well
Right.
as a result.
Those are very good insights. I totally take it. All right. Awesome. So that's the end of this round. We have 2 more rounds. So the next one is the AI shift in web development. Okay. So the first question, what do you think about the shift towards AI in web development? How did it help you as a senior developer or engineer?
Yeah, it's this one is a big topic.
Or how did this affect the workflow when ChatGPT first came into your life?
Yeah. So I think in many ways it's been a very positive effect. Whereas before you had to go to sites like Google and formulate a question and do a lot of research of what other people already had said on the topic. Then you go in there, you find what you're looking for, you piece things together because maybe you found something here and then you looked at something there. Now you can just go to this machine and ask it a human question, and you can even ask it like, explain it to me like this because I'm a senior developer versus junior,
Right.
That has been pretty positive. However, I think we have to distinguish between people where if you have had 10, 20 years of experience in the development world, or just using a computer, using Google and things like that, your brain has been built up using these technologies, right? That's how you are. Then if you use ChatGPT, you will use it in a certain way. Now, if you're an 18-year-old and you started coding and stuff like a year ago, and your whole life has been about ChatGPT, basically, when it comes to coding, that's a whole different part, right? Because I understand that at the end of the day, if I'm not writing the code, I am not really learning. All that's happening is that I'm getting things done fast, which is a great thing in itself. But the long-term effects of it is that if I'm not writing it, if we go into vibe coding for a little bit, if you are explaining things to a computer and it writes the code for you and you're hitting tab, you're not coding. I think it's a different thing than coding. Coding is actually with your fingers writing, taking all those things and transforming it into something and iterating. So my honest opinion is that in many ways, it's amazing. It's incredible. It allows you to put things out there much faster. But on the flip side, it is making us all dumber, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Right.
Without a doubt. It's also making us smarter in a different way. I'm writing a lot more just because of AI, and I think that's a positive thing. But if we're talking about coding and the development aspect of it, I am much more... I have used AI code editors like Cursor for about 9 months now as more of an experiment to see if you can build something real with it. And I've spoken about it at length too on my live streams, but and there's a lot of positive things about it. But if you are starting out, if you're listening to this and you're starting out in your journey, don't use them. Don't use any of those AI editors. In fact, don't even use autocomplete. Write everything.
Yes, I do have a question on autocomplete, but the more specific about this question was, as a senior engineer, were you able to build something very fast?
Yes.
Or
yes.
That did happen.
Scary fast, but you can build something fast, but you hit a wall. And if you don't know, if you don't have the experience, that's it for you. You're not getting past that. Because what I've realized is that basically what the AI is that it's a very good like prediction machine that's using math to give you what you want. Now, if it's just going by the whole giving you what you want, that's pretty cool. But after a certain point, giving you what you want at every step isn't the best long-term overall strategy, because you got to be able to look at the whole thing as a whole of many moving parts working together. And I found that the amount of context that I need to give it at every step after a certain point just becomes absurdly large and complicated. And unless you have very specific ways of directing the AI, it just becomes too taxing. It just becomes too much of a resource suck. And then it's just easier for you to do it yourself, like writing the code yourself. Because at that point, it's this... Do you watch The Simpsons? Did you watch that as a kid?
Yeah, no, not really. In India, there used to be other cartoons.
Yeah, I'll just share like this funny thing I thought of. In The Simpsons, there's Homer Simpson, right? The main character. And one of the earlier seasons, he figures out that he has this twin brother that he never knew about. And he is this billionaire who owns a car company and everything, right? And they get into contact and he's like, Homer, I want you to design the new car that we're going to sell, right? And Homer is like, the car should have this and this and this and this, and then a cup holder and this way. And when they launch the car, it looks completely weird because it has like a million things going on, you know?
Okay.
And it becomes a huge failure, obviously. And I think AI is a little bit like that because it's not able to like in the minimal in the on the local points is able to do a good job, but after a certain point you have to have the whole thing in your brain for you to be able to move forward.
Right.
And it just doesn't have a brain. It has no concept of a brain. It's just solving local problems. And
Right. So,
so at a certain point, the mathematical different possibilities that it can take become so huge that it just keeps going in circles. And that is where I've seen that the human brain is so much more powerful at actually pulling together these things at a, like just like this. So there's no competition. All of the companies that are using AI to do all of their coding versus the ones that are actually using humans, I'm convinced that the humans will win. Yeah.
so as I see it, as a senior developer, it's really important to understand every piece what you're getting from AI and really make judgments. And I guess this even helps better to prompt the next thing. Otherwise, you are like blindly taking the inputs and building, like as you mentioned, the Homer Simpson thing,
Yeah.
a car which has too many unwanted.
Exactly. And this also gets a bit scary because when we have, you're probably hearing about this on X, like, right? I vibe coded this app and it got to $10,000 per month. It's,
Right.
and whenever you have this, like 10,000 other people will follow it and start doing the same thing. And the, the problem here is that you will get somewhere pretty fast. You will be able to build something. And then you put it out there and then you start making money off of it. And then when you make money, you have to make it better. But you will get to a certain point where it's impossible for you to use AI to keep moving further because it's just too complex at that point. But at that point, you've built something that you do not understand yourself because you didn't write the code. And my rule is if you didn't write the code, you don't understand it. So
Right.
at that point, you're stuck because AI wrote the code and you built something that's actually bringing in a little bit of money. But in order to go to the next step, you need to know the code yourself. You're not even a good developer at that point. So you're completely stuck
Right.
now. And I've already been seeing people's stories about this now, where people say that I didn't know how to code. I used AI and I ended up spending like 30,000. It
Right.
got wasted. So there will never be a time where you are going to get around the fact of knowing the basics really well. Because you can't cheat the universe. The universe is always fair in the long term. If you don't know math, you can't become a good mathematician. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. If you don't know code and programming, you can't become a great programmer or product developer. So you can never cheat. In the short term, sure, you can make some money. But you're not building a sustainable business that will actually let you build something good for years and years and years. Yeah, especially for new people, use as simple
I
of
do.
an editor as possible.
I do have really good questions for new
Yeah,
people. Thank you very much on commenting on this
yeah.
thing.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too
This
much.
was
I get
really
too excited. I'm getting. You should just stop me whenever I. Yeah,
that's totally fine. Sometimes I don't want to interrupt the flow of thought because it's really connecting somewhere and you're really giving good input. But I do have like filtered questions that where you can really make good comments. So on the same note, my next question was, how do you think juniors should approach AI-based web development? You did talk about this, the vibe coding and blindly coding wouldn't help them and to master the fundamentals in the beginning.
yeah.
But do you think they should be doing anything apart from this when they are approaching AI-based web development for the first time? Or it's been like 2 years now, so people are already using it?
Yeah. This is very difficult because if I've talked to some high schoolers and university students about AI, and it's just crazy what's happening. The schools and universities, institutions are trying to do some things to stop the rampant use of AI, but the students are getting around it. And I would like to believe that we live in a world where when you tell a student, like, you should actually do this because it's better for you long term. Okay, yeah, maybe you can have that conversation with a 40-year-old. You're not having that conversation with even a 20-year-old, right? They're thinking, no,
Right.
like my friend is using AI and he's able to do things 10
Better
times
stuff.
faster than me, then it's difficult. But yeah, again, if you're not writing the code, you're not really learning. Even even so, just like go to ChatGPT as you would to a dictionary. But like people go like, show me how to build a to-do list application. And then anytime AI is doing all the thinking, then you're not getting anything off of it.
Right.
Where I feel like what I would do as a junior developer right now is I would use this thing as the ultimate test. Am I able to code something in about 1 hour on the spot with people around me that are listening to me teach this thing? And I don't really need much help doing this. If I need to look up the name of a method or some library and all that, that's okay. That's fine. But I'm not like going to ChatGPT and like do this for me and then copy pasting that. None of that stuff. So I'm actually trying to do something in the space, which I won't talk about right now, but I've been thinking about something here. But when I make a Scrimba course or any type of course, I have a rule for myself that before I can actually start recording the course, I need to be able to teach the whole course from start to finish by me just recording and going from zero, nothing, to the finished thing in however long time it takes me. So I do that, like sometimes I do that every single day recording so I understand where I need to work more. Because I feel like if I'm teaching something, I need to know it really well. And if I'm just like looking at notes on the right side and it just doesn't feel right to me. So if you do that over time, and one practical advice that I give junior developers is try to do this every single day. Forget about passively listening to people tell you React on YouTube and you just, listening to that. That doesn't work much. Figure some simple project out that you can do and do that every day. So for example, let's start super simple. You have a button, you click the button, the background changes from yellow or from white to green. Simple thing.
Right.
You tell yourself, can I build this in JavaScript? Well, that's a question. Can you? Can't you? Well, try it out. 1 hour to do that. So that's a very well-defined task. You open up Notepad. Yes, Notepad. No VS Code, no nothing. Just Notepad. Because in Notepad, you have to write everything by yourself. No autocomplete, no nothing. And in that, you try to do the thing in maximum 1 hour. And while you do the thing, you record the screen. I know this is a lot, but this is what I tell my students. This is what I do myself. And then while you do it, you talk out loud as if you're teaching it to a person who's sitting next to you. And then you finish whenever you do, like half an hour in, for example. The rule is, by the end of it, this thing has to be deployed. If it's not deployed, you're not done. It can look like the world's worst project. But as long as it's deployed and I can test it out and I click and it works, you're good. Once you've done that, then you make a 1 to 2 minute video on what you just did. This is what I made. This is how I did it. That's it. Just do that every single day and you will be miles ahead of everyone else. You can use AI for other stuff, wipe code, whatever, but just 1 hour a day, every single day with no AI, no nothing. Just what do I actually know how to do by myself? I'm going to test myself. And you start with a simple button, click, change color. And then you slowly go up to like a to-do list app and then this and this and this. And you'd be surprised how much you can make in just 1 hour. So that is like my very practical advice to new developers. Do this every day and you'll just, you'll improve at an insanely fast rate.
That is really a sound advice. I have also seen this in Adios Man. If you know Adios Man, he writes a lot of blogs.
No.
He works in Google. He's leading this Chrome head. And he have also mentioned this, like to disconnect yourself from no AI coding and just do this coding. And that really impacts. And that's totally like you don't have any help and you're like struggling and you're trying to get things old fashioned. That's...
You also have
that's
to have
a thing that...
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, that's a skill that we shouldn't lose, I meant to say.
Absolutely. And it's very important, the time limit on it. You should put a timer because what people will do is that, I'm working on a project. Oh, really? How are you? Yeah, I'm just working on it. Are you working on it right now? Yeah, I kind of worked on it for a minute and then I went on Instagram for a bit. Okay, so you're like always kind of half working on the project? Yeah. Okay, well, you're just fooling yourself. You're not working on anything. Just do like 1 hour, timer, start. When you have a timer, you're like making decisions super fast because you're like, I could spend 5 minutes making this button look really good in CSS, but do I really need to? Not really. I could spend it better. These are important decisions that you're also trying to make, you know? So the time limitation of this is maybe one of the most important things here. Because people think that you gotta work like 8, 9, 10 hours a day. It's not true. If you do 1 hour of focused work a day, you're better than 95% of people out there, honestly. Yeah,
So bring something to completion from
every day,
start to end.
every single day. Yeah.
That's a good takeaway for juniors. So on the same note, the next question, what 3 AI topics should one master before starting to code with AI?
What 3 AI topics one should master before starting to code with AI? Can you give me like a bit more explanation on this question?
Right. So one thing that I could think about is the way people can prompt, because prompt engineering is really a
Yeah,
thing
right.
nowadays.
Yeah,
And there is LLMs to know basics about LLMs, RAGs, and so
yeah.
many things. So that's
Yeah,
something.
I'm very much a bit old school when it comes to this stuff. So I'm very much a big fan of like you just doing it in a way that makes sense to you. And if you have good, like for example, if I told you, Sachin, have you ever made furniture before? Like a chair or something like that?
No,
No.
I mean, apart from IKEA stuff,
Yeah.
no, not really.
So if I tell you, okay, you have 1 week to make a chair, right? What most people will do is that they'll go on YouTube and they'll go, how to make a chair, right? Or
Right.
go to ChatGPT, teach me how to make a chair. Not the best way to do it. Not the best way to do it. Because it's not the chair that's the important thing, because you're going to make a horrible chair. And that's okay. It's your first chair ever, right? So you're getting focused on the wrong thing. You're getting focused on making the chair as good as possible. What you really should be focused on is how to learn the most possible about the general thing about chairs and furniture and tools and things like that. And the best way to do that is to forget about how other people do it. You just think, I am one person and I don't care how it's going to look. But what makes sense to me right now? Okay, the task is make a chair. Okay, so chair probably wood, right? So I would need wood. Where can I get wood? I can go get wood there. Okay, at that store they sell wood. Cool. They have okay, wood.
Okay.
It's pretty big, right? I need to be able to cut it. I need a saw. You see how I'm thinking now?
Right.
I'm trying to think like that. So when it comes to AI, let's get back to that. Don't think too much about prompt engineering or RAG or whatever. I don't even know what a lot of those things mean, honestly, because it doesn't really matter that much. What matters is, can you ask good questions? It all boils down to that. And
Okay.
in order to prompt better, you should just be very observant about how the AI responds back to you when you ask certain things. So, for example, what I've learned over time is that before I ask the AI to help me with something, I need to provide it as much context as I can about my life. So
Right.
I want to do that in like a conversational way. So, for example, one thing that I could ask it is that this is what I'm trying to achieve. But in order to achieve it, I feel like you need to know me better. So these are the things I want to tell you. Are there any other questions you want to ask me before we start brainstorming on this thing? Then ask me now and we'll do a back and forth. Now I'm kind of extracting things out. So I think that is a big thing. So one of them, if I have to say, is giving it the proper context before you start working on things. That's important. Other than that, just being a curious person, I feel like, is a lot of it. Yeah,
So experiment a lot, you would say, and then figure out how things are, right?
exactly. And do it in the way
That's
that makes sense to you. Don't worry about, I know a lot of us can get hung up on like what's the right way of doing it, but
yeah.
that doesn't teach you anything because that's someone else who has figured it out for you and giving it to you. No, don't
Right.
do it. And like if you want to make something new, like if you don't follow a recipe, then you'll learn about cooking, right? Following a recipe, almost anyone can do. But if you really want to become a really good cook and tasty food, you need to know about like all the different things, how salt works with it and the amount of cooking time for different things. And this can only be done through this laborious, long-winded process of trying things out and failing. And you got to just love that process, honestly. And so it's all about the fundamental basic things. If you got that, then you're good.
Question is, what does your prompt nowadays looks like? How do you improve your prompting strategy, Ethan?
Yeah. I mean, the models have gotten better too. They remember things more now. They remember stuff between conversations. So that aspect is better now. I would say that more and more before, it was a way to get factual information fast. So it was like a Google plus plus kind of faster Google. Much more now, I feel like I'm able to use it more as a personal assistant who's actually helping more on a personal level. So there are things that I've been doing recently. I've been struggling with a little bit of anxiety about like different things. Like if I am showing certain symptoms in my body about different things, I can get like anxious, like is it this disease or something like that, you know? And I don't know if you've had a similar thing, but I've been struggling with that for whatever reason for a while. And I'll just talk to it like that. And I feel like that's been so good because I will talk to it almost like if I had like my doctor on call all the time, you know? And the way that also the way that I ask questions can be pretty interesting. So I think my question asking skills have improved. So I'll say things like if you took 100 people off the street, random people, and they were showing these symptoms, what would you say to them? And then it says, that's a very good question. This is how you should think. And like this, you know, that has been pretty good. So it's been a much more like personal part of my life. I'm using it for brainstorming. I'm using it now much more for when I make my videos, I'll always like script it out myself. And then I used to feed it to help me edit it. And it would always like make it sound not so much like me before. And now I feel like more and more when I give it my video script, it will edit it and help me edit it, get it under 60 seconds. And it will also make it sound more like me. So yeah, so it's becoming even more and more part of my life.
Okay. So long story short, the questioning have become better than it was before.
Definitely. Yeah.
Good. Last question in this round is coding with auto prediction. Is that useful or destructive? Should juniors or seniors use it? Because this thing, I personally, when I start like with the Copilot,
Yeah.
as soon as you install the extension, the auto prediction is on. And it's like when something is on by default, people don't care it to off. And they just feel so good about it because everything is put right in front of you.
Yeah.
So do you do this approach with Cursor, or how do you think about this?
Yeah. With Cursor, I've been testing out different things. One is it just writes the code for me. I put it in. One is that I ask it like to guide me through something, and then I write the code that it produces and all of these things. So I'm still kind of experimenting there. I'm not against autocomplete or just it producing the code for you, but I'm against people fooling themselves into thinking that they're coding when that is happening. Because even when you're auto-completing, you're not really coding. So again, my rule is like, if you're not writing the code, you're not really coding, you're not really understanding. So you can do it still, and I do it too. And I do it for many reasons. One is to save time. But you are losing stuff. Where you're gaining, you are also losing. So, and also, I think we tend to think that we're saving so much time. And in some cases, we really are. Because if you're writing some stuff that you've written a million times before, and you just need to do it every time, then sure.
All right. So maybe you can continue by winding up the last part. So my question was coding with auto prediction. Is that useful or destructive? Should juniors or seniors use it?
Yeah. You can totally use it. I use it. But don't think that you are coding when using it, because you have to write the code. And that's where you understand the code. That's where when someone asks you about the code, you can hopefully answer questions about the code. That's where when you come back to the code months later, you actually understand. So a lot of these things are kind of the story about the tortoise and the hare, you know? In the end, if you're moving fast, you'll get things done. But in the
Tortoise
end,
and the
yeah, you are losing, honestly. So use it, but know that you're not coding when you're using it, and definitely also have some portion of it where you do it yourself. The way that I think I like to think about it now is that maybe you use more of the wipe coding approach to like understand what to work on fast to be able to create something, show it to people. And then once you've figured that out, then you go, okay, now I need to build the code base by myself up. And I've kind of figured out how to do it now because I kind of have a feeling this approach is good. Now I should do it by myself. So I understand it. So that would be my advice on there.
All right. Awesome. So that would be the end of this round. The next round is a bit more personal to both of us. It's about Scrimba, and you have taught previously on Scrimba. So let me come to the first question. How have Scrimba helped people who are learning to get into web development? And maybe you can quickly give a short introduction. What Scrimba is, probably
Yep.
some people doesn't know.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know Scrimba, imagine a YouTube video where someone is trying to teach you code. The problem there is that you can't really interact with the code. It's just dead pixels that you're watching. So the creator of Scrimba, who is the CTO of Scrimba now, Sindra, great guy, he invented his own front-end coding language. And in order to teach it to people, he invented Scrimba, where Scrimba combines different aspects and makes it into one thing. So in Scrimba, you don't see the instructors. There's no video, but you can hear them. And as they're showing you stuff, you're seeing code written in real time. But the cool thing is that you can put the video on pause, or the scrim on pause rather. You can go in and you can change the code. So if the instructor showed you how to do a certain thing, you can change it slightly. So instead of using their name, you can put in your own name. And you can run the code in the browser and you can see it. So that's really powerful because it allows beginners to not have to do setup and installation and a bunch of things that honestly you lose so many people like that, right?
Right.
Not only that, Scrimba also allows you to add Google Slides, rather. They use GIFs and they just make the whole experience a lot more fun, I think.
Right.
So I think
It did
that,
actually.
yeah.
So my second question is, you have taught thousands of learners through Scrimba. So what patterns have you noticed between juniors who succeed versus those who struggle?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people rush through the program pretty fast and they don't end up really understanding the basics. So one of the things is that people know that they need to know React because React is where all the jobs are. And they rush to React and they end up learning React and they don't really understand JavaScript very well. In that scenario, they struggle a lot later on because the best way to learn React is to learn JavaScript. And then React will just come as a natural consequence of that. So that's one thing where people struggle. I think relying on Scrimba too much is also somewhere people can struggle. So
The tutorial hell, you mean?
yeah, exactly. Scrimba courses are good, but you still have to do the work, and the work is done when you decide to build things and struggle to build them because you don't really know how to do it.
Okay.
It's kind of I don't know about you, Sachin, but I remember a time when I would watch people on YouTube build projects over the course of hours, and I would just be like, how are they able to know what to do next? And how are they able to know these things? Like this person has done this, and then this, and then this, and
Totally agree.
yeah. And the only way to do it really is do it on a very small scale. Because if you're learning and I tell you like make an H1 tag, like a heading on a page, everyone's going to be able to do it, right? And then I say, let's do that, but also an image. Most people are going to be able to do that. But it's when they stack up on top of each other is when people start to get like, oh my God. But it's not that each individual thing is that difficult. It's just that the combination of them in different permutations together is what the only way to do that is through practice a lot. So just make sure that every single time that you're trying to learn every day, you are spending a good amount of that time dedicated to like, now I'm going to test myself, like what we talked about earlier, right? You got to do that because Scrimba will help you. Scrimba is better than a YouTube tutorial, but it's still in the same group of that. So it can only take you so far. The people that succeed the most are the people that are like building. Yeah.
That's a good takeaway. All right. Then I have one last question in this round. What's one success story from your students at Scrimba or maybe outside Scrimba that completely surprised you or inspired you?
I have a couple of these. I've been teaching for a while, but maybe one of the most inspiring is a student of mine, and this was way before I was working at Scrimba. This is in 2018, and I ran this 16-week web development boot camp in Oslo, in Norway, where I live. And there were a lot of people that signed up. There was this woman in particular who was in her early 30s at that point, and she was a language teacher, and she saw my ad on Facebook, she got interested, she signed up. But she was just so enthusiastic during the whole 16 weeks. She actually finished. Very few people finished. I think a lot of people signed up, but very few people finished, Right, and she was one of them. She told me that was like a life-changing experience for her. That was in 2018. Fast forward, I want to say 5 years. She took other courses. She learned by herself, and now she is working for more than 3 years, I think, at, you can call it like the Google of Norway. Very big company, exciting things they make, and she's working on the payments team there. That I think is very inspirational because she already was an adult at that point, and she didn't think of herself as a programmer. She was a language teacher, for kids. Now she's doing this. Been pretty inspired by that, shared that with a lot of people I know.
Awesome, inspiring. I mean, you should be really proud about this.
Definitely.
Do you want to tell who that person is for the viewers?
I think maybe she is a bit shy, so
Okay,
maybe I
all
shouldn't
right.
mention her name. But yeah, lovely
problem.
person. She's also become a friend over time.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was the end of all the big rounds. We are finally down to rapid fire. So this maybe shouldn't take like more than 1 minute to answer these questions, or some are like
Thank you
totally
for mentioning
direct.
that. I tend to go on for a long time.
All right. So are you ready? Let's start.
Yes.
So the first question is, book or blog post you gift the most or like to recommend to others?
Book would be Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Has nothing to do with programming, but a lot to do with about life, and changed my life when I read it.
I've seen this recommendation in a lot of places. Awesome. Next one. Favorite tech YouTubers or YouTubers in the field of web development? Do you follow someone?
Network Chuck.
Okay. Never heard this. All right.
Good one.
I'll check it out. Okay, the next one. Name 3 of your role models or heroes.
Richard Feynman.
I did see a poster of Richard Feynman.
I used to
on
have
your
it
wall.
before. Yeah.
Replaced with Batman nowadays?
Yeah. I wanted some change.
Okay.
Definitely Richard Feynman. I'd say Amir Khan is someone who's had a big Indian actor, filmmaker, and yeah. And third one, I'd say this is a person not many people know about, but he's a cartoonist who made a very famous comic that I used to read a lot as a kid, Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, okay.
It's like this little kid with a tiger. You might have seen a picture of it.
Of course.
Yeah, so I'll include the creator of that, whose name is Bill Watterson.
Okay.
So those 3 people I can say.
Awesome. Great list. Next one. 3 things you need for sure before coding.
Some drink, water, carbonated water, or something with caffeine.
Okay.
A good keyboard. And I should have gone on a walk before coding, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Frees up your mind. Clarity. But do you have any suggestion for keyboard? Or
No, I just use a Mac keyboard. It's
They're already good.
pretty good for me. Yeah. Whatever you feel is comfortable for you.
Okay. Next one. It's a silly question. So one keystroke mapping you tattoo on your arm.
Okay. Like Command Z or something like that?
Yes.
You Control Z. Maybe Command C or
Command C.
Control C for copying. I think
All
that's a really amazing invention to be able to copy something from one place to another so seamlessly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, good one. Next one is one strategy to stay razor sharp focused to get things done.
Have a very a goal that is very well defined, and almost always something very concrete should come out of your work. So whether that is a video, whether that's a website, whether that's a piece of writing, it can't be vague. You have to be like, this is what I'm working towards. So if you're working in a big thing, you need to split it up into smaller things and be like, for everything, there is something produced. That really helps me stay sharp, and also having deadlines. So for example, if you, or rather having like, for example, a meeting with a friend or a call with your mom or whatever it is, like I know that at 4 o'clock later today, something's happening. I gotta be really effective doing this thing. Gotta get it done before it. These things help me stay more focused.
Okay, to have a really well-defined outcome and time limit to this. Awesome. Next one is name 3 subscriptions that you cannot live without as a coder.
For sure, like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is, you know. I have a small like notes app I use on my computer and my phone, my Mac. It's not expensive, but I really need it.
Is it Bear Notes or something?
It's not Bear Notes. It's Drafts. It's pretty much very simple though. I don't even really need to pay for it because there are free apps out there. But I've been using it for 4 years. I got like 13,000 notes in it. So it's just like some extra things you get there. That's the second one for me. And third one for sure is my favorite, which is Alfred, which is like this for Mac. I think you have a similar one for Windows. You have to where it's like you just press Command space. And then it gives you this thing where you can do different things like open up applications fast or do like file management and things like that. So that is something I use all the time.
I started using Raycast. It's similar to Alfred.
Similar thing, yeah.
Alfred. Okay, good to know. Next one, books, podcasts, blogs. What's your number one way to learn fast?
Actually, I'm not a fan of learning things fast. I'm actually a fan of learning things slow. So... Yeah, so whatever is the slowest is what I will try to learn. Podcasts are a very good way of getting like a feel for a thing. So if you have like if you want to learn a new thing, if you are listening to the person who invented it on different podcasts, you're going to start to get a feel for why this thing exists even. So I'm a very big fan of doing that first. And then I'm like, okay, now I have to use this to make a certain thing myself. I'm a very project-based learner. So as soon as possible, I'm like, okay, if I want to learn React, I got to build something in React. And then as needed, I will go and learn stuff as I go. So
interesting.
So maybe
okay. As developers, next question, as developers, we sit a lot. So got a hack or habit to stay healthy?
Yeah, I'm still working on this. As you can probably see, I got to lose a little bit of weight. But so I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I have this assistant that like asks me if I haven't gone out. Those type of things help me. So basically like I have people around me now that like will kind of force me in some way to get out because I'm pretty hopeless with this stuff. Like earlier this year, I actually was working on this project related to my programming language and I got so sucked into it because that I, for some days, just was on my bed coding and I was just not moving almost for like 10 hours straight. And it was so bad that my legs kind of went to sleep for a bit. And then my legs went numb for quite a long time. And I got worried about it. So I had to go to the physiotherapist and I did some... So I'm not the best person here. It's really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but small things that get you out would be good. I'm a fan of just going outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is also a silly question. If every line of AI generated code that you generated had a nutrition label, what would be that be?
It would be a lot of junk food. I think, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question. 3 movies that inspired you in Bollywood.
Yeah. Three Idiots, for sure.
Nice.
Padman and Lagan.
Lagan. Okay. Good. I was thinking you would say Super 30.
That one is also a good one. Yeah.
Around 3 movies that inspired you in Hollywood.
The Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie of all time.
Yes, very good movie.
School of Rock is a movie that I really like. Kind of inspired me to become a teacher in some ways, in a, like an unconventional way.
Right, right.
And yeah, there's a lot of inspiring movies. I'd say third one, The Imitation Game, is one of my favorites with Alan Turing. I think that's an incredibly inspirational story that most people don't know about. So those three.
Great list. I've seen all the movies that you had suggested. So I guess we are also on the same page. Okay, so that was end of our rapid fire. This was the shortest round I guess we had. And the last one is also a shortest round. It's a takeaway round. My first question is, what's one challenge you dare every listener to attempt this week to 10x their growth?
Do something uncomfortable every day, which is not related to your main core competency. I'll give you some examples. Find excuses to talk to strangers. It can be about the smallest thing, but do it. Go to a stranger and ask, hey, do you have the time? I don't have my phone on me. Okay, thank you. Go to the grocery store and ask, hey, I don't know where the brown rice is. Can you show me? Just whatever it is, tell someone that they're looking nice, that you are looking so good. Your outfit looks amazing. I just wanted to say that. Just because we have a tendency to just keep to ourselves now because our whole life is here, do that every day. That is probably going to 10x your growth way more than any technical thing I can tell you, because you're already doing that. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Next one, complete this. It's a filling the blanks. So if I were starting today, I would ignore dash and master.
The common one there is like ignore React and learn JavaScript really well first.
So that's the same advice. All right, awesome. So that was end of all our rounds. Thank you very much, Rafid, for your time. It went really long, but I guess it was a lot of insights that we covered in short amount of time. It's almost getting close to Lex Friedman's podcast, I guess. Good. So where can people find you?
You can find me on all the platforms out there. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn.
Okay.
And it's just my name, Rafid Hoda, in one.
All right, I will definitely put that in show notes as well for the listeners. All right, so I would call that's a wrap.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Sachin, for inviting me. I had a really great time and very well done. This is just your second interview, but I thought you did a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening. That was such a visionary talk with Rafid Hoda. I thoroughly enjoyed his thoughts on the job application process in the current market in a smart way. I hope this helps you too. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a comment on who you'd like to see next on the show. This will help the channel grow. As the famous YouTuber Akshay Saini says, keep grinding and I'll see you in the next episode of Web Stories with Sachin.